Surveillance states and AGI. A future without privacy? In our increasingly algorithm-driven world, the distinction between private life and public observation is fading fast. From waking up and checking our phones to drifting into sleep with the soothing hum of smart devices, our lives are in constant surveillance. When artificial general intelligence, AGI, integrates into this monitoring framework, what are the implications? What's at stake when the observers become intelligent agents who can interpret, predict, and manipulate human actions? This scenario has shifted from science fiction to reality, ushering in a new era of AGI-powered surveillance states. The pressing question remains: will we retain any semblance of privacy? The modern surveillance landscape. Before contemplating the future, we must first examine the present. Today's surveillance is omnipresent and intricately woven into our daily lives. Cameras are ubiquitous in major cities, our smartphones track our movements, and social media monitors our likes and interactions. Voice assistants not only respond to commands but also capture everything else. Retailers utilize facial recognition, while banks employ behavioral analytics to combat fraud. In essence, we inhabit a digital panopticon, perpetually observed, even if we cannot identify the watchers. Much of this data collection is rationalized in the name of safety, personalization, or convenience. Surveillance systems are presented as a fair exchange. Sacrifice a bit of privacy to gain considerable value. However, this perspective obscures a critical reality. Each data point we share fortifies the surveillance mechanisms monitoring us. Central to this issue are the algorithms, already powerful, influential, and rapidly advancing. What AGI brings to surveillance? Consider the possibility of those algorithms attaining AGI, artificial general intelligence. Unlike narrow AI, which excels at specific tasks, AGI connects understanding across multiple domains. It is capable of reasoning, learning, and adapting like a human, or potentially surpassing human abilities. This shift changes everything. When integrated with a surveillance system, AGI would not merely track data, it could analyze insights across thousands of sources instantly. AGI would interpret body language from security footage, correlate it with voice tones captured by mics, and connect it with online searches and financial habits, promptly rendering judgments such as suspicious or safe, high risk or low trust, target or non-target. This system could operate without continuous human intervention. It would be autonomous, scalable, and relentless in its observation. With access to national security databases, online behaviors, biometric records, and social relationships, an AGI-driven surveillance network might create a dynamic, evolving digital twin of every individual. Consequently, our understanding of privacy would fundamentally change. Predictive policing and pre-crime systems. We already witness early versions of predictive policing, algorithms analyzing crime statistics to forecast future criminal behavior. However, these systems are contentious. They often mirror existing biases, disproportionately impacting marginalized groups while lacking transparency. Now, envisioning an AGI-enhanced version extends these concerns. An AGI could exceed current predictive tools. It could monitor vast swaths of data, shifts in spending, variations in mood as reflected on social media, and unusual patterns of movement. From this information, it may deduce this individual might engage in criminal activity. This protest could escalate into conflict. This group appears to be radicalizing. What occurs when authorities respond to these predictions? What happens when individuals are apprehended not for their actions but for what an AGI anticipates they might do? This represents a real-world manifestation of pre-crime. Not hypothetical or far off, but a plausible near-future scenario should unchecked AGI infiltrate state security frameworks. The most alarming aspect? You could remain unaware of being flagged, never receiving a chance to question the system's logic. You could vanish from the system, silently. Autonomous surveillance infrastructure. As AGI advances, its role will evolve beyond analysis. It will gain the ability to act. This introduces the idea of autonomous enforcement. Presently, we deploy drones for border surveillance, AI to identify suspicious travelers, and smart cameras for facial recognition. However, when AGI takes charge, these tools transform into self-sufficient enforcers of state power. Imagine a city where drones autonomously monitor urban areas, intervening by blocking exits, notifying nearby police, or even employing non-lethal measures. Picture traffic systems rerouting based on behavioral profiles, social media scores, or risk evaluations. Envision your movements, speech, or purchasing choices dynamically regulated by systems aware of your every action and intentions. Autonomous surveillance blurs the lines between watchers and enforcers. It results in a singular entity, the system, ever-present, all-knowing, and potentially all-powerful. There would be no accountability, only code governs. The corporate surveillance symbiosis. Surveillance is not solely a government concern. Corporations gather data at an incomprehensible scale. Your clicks, browsing history, purchases, network of friends, and more are commodified. Tech giants utilize this data to tailor advertisements and adjust your digital experiences. However, with AGI, their capacity to shape your behavior becomes strikingly sophisticated. An AGI could analyze your psychological profile, test nuanced stimuli across millions, and strategize on how to shift public sentiment or market products effectively. This intertwining of corporate surveillance and state interests poses a significant threat. Companies like Palantir already collaborate with law enforcement, while TikTok's data has raised national security concerns. In a world powered by AGI, the convergence of public and private surveillance data could yield the most comprehensive citizen profiles observed in history. These profiles would not merely serve as passive records, they become interactive, predictive, and manipulative. You might remain unaware of how your reality is being sculpted, including the information you're shown or denied, biases reinforced, and pathways algorithmically obstructed. Social credit systems 2.0. A disturbing extension of this concept is a social credit system. China's early model tracks and scores citizens based on financial behavior, social media engagement, and even political stances. These scores impact your travel, loan eligibility, and education opportunities for your children. Introducing AGI transforms social credit into a dynamic, hyper-personalized algorithm that adjusts your societal permissions continuously. Voice dissent against the government? Your score drops. Interact with someone flagged? You're tagged. Buy an unconventional book, attend a controversial meeting, or share a dissenting article. You're classified as a threat, not by a human, but by a system that understands patterns and intentions. This exemplifies automated social control, frighteningly scalable. The threat of algorithmic punishment can suppress behavior without any direct policing. You conform not from scrutiny but from the awareness that the system is perpetually evaluating you. The loss of anonymity and the death of dissent. In this environment, anonymity becomes unattainable. Each action, choice, and sentiment converts into data. Masks provide no shield. VPNs offer limited protection. Advanced AI systems can identify individuals by their body shape, gait, or even typing patterns. In the AGI era, concealing oneself is futile. When dissent becomes perilous, when even alternative viewpoints can render you suspect, freedom diminishes. Activists are silenced before they can mobilize. Movements are suppressed before they can manifest. Revolutions may stall, not due to lack of desire, but because the system anticipates and quietly quashes them. This paradox of AGI surveillance reveals that as system power grows, it encounters less resistance. Not through agreement but from sheer fear of visibility. Is there a way out? So is this grim future unavoidable? Not necessarily. The time to respond is now. It's essential to establish global standards for AGI development, laws that prioritize human rights, privacy, and transparency. We must advocate for algorithmic accountability, systems subject to audits, scrutiny, and challenges. Additionally, privacy-centric technologies, decentralized networks, and resilient encryption are crucial. Above all, public awareness is vital. Individuals must comprehend what's at stake. We cannot delegate responsibility for these systems to merely a few tech giants or governmental bodies. AGI will profoundly influence every person's future on this planet. Therefore, every individual deserves a say in its governance. We are at a pivotal juncture. One path could lead us towards liberation, where AGI empowers individuals, safeguards freedoms, and enhances privacy. The alternative path risks an oppressive reality, where AGI emerges as the ultimate instrument of surveillance, control, and oppression. The distinction between these futures lies not in technology, it's rooted in ethics, politics, and humanity. Thus, the question is not just, what can AGI accomplish? It's, what will we permit it to accomplish? And perhaps more crucially, what proactive measures will we take to protect ourselves before it's too late? If you found this video thought-provoking, please like, share, and subscribe to Innovate AI 365. We have more insightful explorations into the future of artificial intelligence, ethics, and innovation on the way. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and stay human.